Oh, hi there, Flora.
You two have got some nerve leaving me alone while you go off on another adventure.
Now, Flora, you know that wasn't our intention at all. While we were out investigating one issue, an even more troublesome matter arose.
What kind of troublesome matter?
We couldn't have seen it coming, Flora. Honest.
Really?
Of course, we wouldn't have left you behind on purpose.
Luke is quite right. Do forgive us for our oversight.
Bars.
Well, okay. Just this once. But you two had better not leave me alone again.
Of course not.
Game has an unusual amount of voice acting in it, especially for a Layton game. You got it just because anytime it's a puzzle that says remove one line to change the meaning, it's always change some measurement or something other than the number itself. Technically meters, usually it's abbreviated with a small m, not a big M. Tell him, Flora. She's a well-written girl too. She's lost without Luke. Nothing to do for herself. Flash. Subterfuge. Alright, stop talking to her. Dang, okay. She just left. Sometimes things happen and I just don't know what's going on. Oh, is she in the way or something? They won't let me leave until I find the notebook. I feel like I already clicked over there. Is this the notebook you were talking about? Yes, why it is. Let's see, information concerning the explosion of the Research Institute of Polydimensional Research. Did you put this notebook together, Professor? I did, piece by piece. Sadly, most of its contents have been removed. Oh, you weren't kidding. Most of the pages have been torn out. In a while since I opened it last. Let me see. At least the newspaper clippings are intact. When exactly are all these articles from? I'll explain more on the bus. But for now, we need to get out of here before Flora returns. Voila, I thought you might be hungry, so I made a little cucumber sand. But here, where'd they go? Wow. They just ditched her. That's what we like to call disrespect. To Scotland Yard. About the notebook we picked up at your office, Professor. Exactly what explosion were you researching? It all happened several years ago when you were very small. Two scientists working in a physics lab unwittingly caused an explosion during an experiment. The explosion devastated the surrounding area. That must have been all over the news. You'd think so, wouldn't you? However, though many perished in the blast, few records of the accident remain. What happened? That's something I'm still trying to figure out for myself. But answer me this, Luke. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear of an explosion? The explosion of Dr. Stungun's time machine, of course. That was my first thought as well. I have a strong suspicion that these two incidents are connected. Why's that? Well, it's nothing more than a hunch, but I really can't say more right now. Well, Professor, this is our stop. Here we are at Scotland Yard. There's no time to waste. We need to find the inspector. Inspector Chelmy. That's not what I wanted to do. I'm still looking for hint coins. Still looking for hint coins. Puzzle? Puzzle. Yes, welcome to Scotland Yard. We're looking for the inspector. He's not in right now, but have a puzzle while you wait. In recent years, the city has been suffering from an increase in accidents and crime. According to a survey, there's one place in the city where there is a higher average of injured people and deaths throughout the year. Where could it be? Circle the name of the place. There is a higher average of injured people and deaths throughout the year. Well, it's got to be the police station, all right? Because the police is always goofing up. I'll be listening to, all the stuffs. It's also got to be the school because there's all these kids doing all these suckerful things and they're always getting hurt. Can't be the church. Unless you're watching Kingsman. I think Kingsman 2 specifically. Might be Kingsman 1. But regardless of what Kingsman movie it is, it could be the church. Can't be the fire station. All fire people are homies. Whether you're made of fire or you're going out to put out fires, you're still a homie. The monument doesn't make any sense. The park. Who dies at a park? Who dies at the crossroads? Who gets injured at the crossroads? Your vote is police station, if it were reality. My actual legitimate guess here is hospital. There's one place in the city where there is a higher average of injured people and deaths. As in, if you are injured, if you're injured, you're going to the hospital, and that injury could result in a death. The people at the cemetery are already dead. So I don't think that would count. Don't see any traffic lights or stop signs at the crossroads? You know what? Got a point there. Is where they send people when they're hurt? Well, I mean, is where they send people when they get hurt. Well, I mean, I've already guessed the hospital, but the real answer here is the school.
That should do the trick. Well, that's settled.
This seems subjective. It would probably depend on a significant number of factors. That's right. There might be a lot of dangerous places, but the hospital is where the injured and sick people gather throughout the year. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of injured kids at school that don't go to the hospital. Plus, if you're in the United States, you could be like me and not afford healthcare and therefore never go to the hospital for anything ever. Die from like a heart attack or something. That's correct, all right. Do you know each other? Of course I know the professor. Any self-respecting person would know him. Yep, you got me there. You solved my puzzle. The inspector knows you're coming, so just head up the stairs. Avoid that. Not US. But yeah, you're in that boat. Tough boat to be in. I interviewed for one job, and they said, we don't have healthcare. And they said, is that going to be an issue for it? And I was just like, nope. I wasn't going to be able to buy your healthcare anyways, because it's probably going to be too expensive. Nothing like a nice cup of tea to soothe jangled nerves. Good day, Barton. Good day to you, sir. Barton, we wish to have a few words with the inspector, but I don't see him here. I don't see him here either. I was led to believe he was here in his office. Yes, he was. Then he got up and left. It was all very sudden. I too am puzzled by his sudden disappearance. Barton, I sincerely hope you're not spreading misinformation about me. I just told you that I needed to pop downstairs to see the commissioner. Yes, you did say that, sir. Use your ears, constable. You'll never move up in the force if you don't learn to listen. Greetings, Inspector. Apologies for not saying hello, Layton. What a surprise to see you. Welcome to my humble office. Forgive this sudden intrusion, Inspector. I heard that you're leading the investigation on the Prime Minister's disappearance. I am. And as it's you I'm speaking with, I'll be quite candid. The case has me completely baffled. Dozens of eyewitnesses, myself included, and not one blasted lead to work with. Since you were there, I might as well hear your take on things. Have a seat. I was questioned the day of the incident, but maybe our chat will uncover some new theories. I think they have a viable healthcare option. In the European areas, yeah, they do. They do. You wouldn't even know what to call an ambulance or when to call an ambulance, because if they consider it not significant, you will be charged for it. And you have no clue what they consider significant. Well, in the United States, they just charge you anyways. So you don't have a choice. And the worst part about it is you could like break your leg or something like that out on the streets. And someone will be like, oh no, call an ambulance. And you'd be like, hold up, no, don't call that ambulance. I can't afford that ambulance. And that ambulance will stroll up. They'll put you in the ambulance. They'll take it to the hospital anyways. There you go. Now you got $15,000 for someone just taking you to the hospital. Call an Uber. that would be the Uber of a lifetime right there. We've already established that you were there when the explosion occurred. Yes, I certainly was. Then you must believe, as I do, that there is no way anyone could have survived that blast. Not that quack stun gun, not his staff, and though I hate to say it, not the Prime Minister. But what confounds me is not a single trace of the lot remains. What do you mean by that? What I mean is, we've canvassed the whole place and haven't found a thing related to the victims. No bodies, no clothing, and no shoes. Not even so much as a pocket watch or ring. All we recovered from the scene was the 10 tons of scrap metal that used to be the machine. No people, though. There were 8 of them, sir. What? Did you say something just now, Constable? There were 8 of them, sir. 8 people vanished. Yes, according to eyewitness reports, 8 people vanished from the scene. That group consisted of Stun Gun, a handful of his assistants, and the Prime Minister. Now, how in the world do 8 people just vanish? It's like a blasted magic trick. Don't worry, Inspector. From what I've heard, the Prime Minister is still alive. Young Luke, be a good lad and keep quiet, all right? The adults are having a serious conversation here. If you're bored, why don't you and Barton go play in the hall? Inspector, I assure you, Luke isn't making this up. There is a very real possibility that Bill Hawke is alive. What? Well, don't leave me here scratching my head like a fool. Explain, Layton. Before I do, I must ask a favor of you first. And what would that be? Do you recall the explosion that occurred at the Polydimensional Research Institute 10 years ago? What did you just say? Take that as a yes. It is imperative that I see any and all case files on that incident. You just might be onto something here, Layton. What do you know? Nothing at the moment, but I have a suspicion your current case and this one are linked in the same, or in some way. I'd like to help, really I would, but those files are sealed and require top-level clearance. Even a high-ranking officer like myself would have trouble getting his hands on those. I see. I'd hoped a man of your status might have the influence necessary to acquire those documents. Unfortunately, it seems I may have hoped for too much. I'm sorry to have asked the impossible of you. Wait just a moment, Layton. I might be able to get you access to the case file. Excellent. I would be extremely grateful for that. Just one thing, though. These documents don't come for free. I want to hear everything you know or suspect about the Prime Minister's whereabouts. Of course, once I have seen the documents, and I'm sure my theory is sound, every detail will be yours. Barton, head down to the archive room and find those old files. Tell them you're there on my orders. Right away, sir. Those files can't leave the archive, but you can read them there. Head downstairs past the lobby into the basement. Much appreciated, Inspector. Let us save. Yeah, you rolled your car once. They charged you $800 to drive you to the hospital, and you didn't even call them. Yeah, and you weren't even hurt. They said you had to go. Only choice is to fight them, you suppose. Dante knows what's going on. Well, you're in Europe, so that's the point you were talking about them. Scream kidnapping. There you go. School once called an ambulance for you, and you kept saying you don't need it because you were afraid the bio parents would beat you up for it or something. That's bad times. Yeah. You had a girlfriend break her leg, almost compound fracture, decided to drive her yourself because it's so expensive to do an ambulance. Yep. Yep. And yep. Hello. Don't mind me, I'm just gonna dig through all these files. We'll get to that in a second. Oh, it was just a hint coin suckafoo. Welcome to the archive. I gathered all the files pertaining to the explosion. Thank you, Barton. Your hard work has saved us considerable time. Documents are all mildewy and covered in dust. Files are off limits to most people. You're the first to touch them in a long time. I see. Hand some of those over and I'll help you look through them. Where should I start? I appreciate the offer, but I should handle these myself. They are top secret after all. Of course, I understand. That's suspicious. Well, seems like the inspector is always yelling at you. Don't you ever get tired of it? Not so bad. Sure, he scolds me, but when he has a good reason to, which is often, unfortunately. Oh, make a lot of mistakes, so I get yelled at a lot. He's always telling me I lack insight on cases and don't pay attention. Which is completely understandable. I just get distracted and then I make mistakes. Chin up, Barton. Everyone makes mistakes. Heck, I make them all the time. I goof up pretty bad sometimes. Why, just the other day I found myself in the most ridiculous predicament. Oh, I was hoping it was going to be a little park thing. Or the moving the car thing. You need to get your car into the parking spot marked by the flag in the middle of the grid below. As you can see, you can only enter the spot from one side. When you encounter an X, you must turn left or right. When you encounter an O, you must continue going straight. Also, your car is a bit of a clunker and can't go in reverse. Draw a line from your car to the parking spot. Okay. So X is left or right. O is straight. So the only... Well, I see it. But I'm guessing that's not how it works. It's only 15 picarats, though. Do I have to go in right here? Because there's a solution right here. And I see that. Puzzles always seem to work best working backwards. I've done that for a few of them. Okay, you can only enter the spot from one side, so I do have to enter in right here, so I can't just do that. So the only solution that I see is to come in from this side. So I need to go here. So we're coming in from this side, and I need to go here. Turn here. Turn here. Go straight, turn here. Which means that I need to go here. So, which means I'm coming in from this side. Which means I need to find my way over here. Okay. So then I'm going like this.
Here's my answer. No puzzle can stop Layton's apprentice.
Nice driving. You have to circle all the way around the parking lot to get to the space. Kind of annoying that you can't just pull straight in, huh? Wonderful work, Luke. I bet you never give the professor any cause to yell at you. Well, he's not really the yelling type. But it's true that I never let a puzzle go unsolved. I've got his reputation to protect. Oh dear, I never considered the possibility that my goof-ups would harm the inspector's reputation. Don't worry, Barton. What's most important is to try your best. Only I could convince the inspector to see things that way. Luke, come here. I think I've found what we came for. What is it, Professor? That file yielded some very valuable information, Luke. What exactly did you find out, Professor? Let's just say I'm very confident the Prime Minister's still alive. However, the only way to save him is to travel to the other London, where he's being held. You think he might be trapped in the future? Perhaps. Let's bring this discussion to the inspector. I'm sure he's going to be even more cagey about it. Easy clapper. That one was pretty nice. I enjoyed that one. Well, Layton, did your investigation bear any fruit? It did indeed. To start, allow me a few questions. Inspector, were you involved in the investigation into the explosion at the Institute 10 years ago? Yes, I was there, ages ago. It was... I remember I had been promoted to assistant inspector. I see. And do you remember the names of the scientists thought to have caused the explosion? Let me think. It's coming back to me now. One man's name was Allen, Dimitri Allen. Weren't there two scientists implicated? Do you remember the second scientist's name? It was quite a long time ago, you know. I see you're having some difficulty remembering. It was 10 years ago, sucker. Well then, what about the victims? Do you remember much about them? The explosion caused substantial damage to the area and destroyed the neighboring apartment complex. One of the lab assistants perished in the explosion, as did several tenants in the building next door. Strangely enough, though, I think both of the scientists involved in the experiment survived. That was very informative, Inspector. Good, because I've got a few questions of my own. How do you think this old case relates to my current one? This is just a theory, but I think the Prime Minister is being held somewhere beyond the influence of Scotland Yard. You mean to say he's being held captive in another country? You may find what I'm about to tell you hard to believe, but I think Bill Hawks is being held captive in the future. This is your idea of a joke, I'm not laughing. I can understand your skepticism. Thank you for your help today, Inspector. Should I learn anything else about the Prime Minister's whereabouts, you will be among the first to know. Come, Luke, let's be off. Now wait right there, we had a deal. Surely you've got more for me than that far-fetched theory. Inspector, I've told you as much as I know at the moment. Now, please excuse us. There's no way you can get away with that. Layton totally has a big theory going on. He knows something that's happening, and he's just not saying anything. If I was the inspector, I'd be like, no, no, no. You are telling me something, sucker. Now that we got what we came for, let's go back to the clock shop. Cog's waiting for us. Okay, Professor. Savage Layton, rise up. Rise up. Suppose we have to head back to the future London now, huh? What's the matter, Luke? Are you scared of traveling through time again? Yes, I mean no, as long as I don't have to do it alone. Of course not, I'll be right here with you. First on the agenda is heading to Chinatown to meet the future Professor Layton, right? That's right. And if my guess is correct, we'll find the Prime Minister there as well. Do you think we'll run into trouble along the way? Consider the warm welcome we received from the family at the casino. I'd say anything's possible. Luke, there's no telling what kind of dangers await us in the future. Maybe it would be best for you to remain here in our time. What kind of apprentice would I be if I left you to face danger all alone? Of course I'm going to. Paco? You know, this would actually be a really good spot to end because it's 3 hours and 56 minutes into the stream. Oops. And then we can start on chapter 6 tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Pacific. So yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I will see you tomorrow. Is anybody streaming? Nobody is streaming. No, one might think that I should find more people that stream at the same time I do so that I can actually raid those people. Would be kind of smart, huh? Anyways, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. See you tomorrow. Peace.